Greetings, minions, YouTubers, or potential YouTubers, and fellow gamers. This is Silverblade Dagger, and this is going to be a bit of a tutorial on how I make videos. Hopefully this will help you guys that are aspiring to get into YouTube to make videos of your own. In particular, this is for my friend Sharky, who's been kind of struggling, it seems, to get his video set up all together. So I'm just going to go through and show you the process that I go through to start making recordings, and then to go through and make videos that I put up on YouTube. So the first thing I usually do before I start making a video is I come down here to the audio settings and go to recording devices. It might be different on your computer setup, I don't know. So I go over here to double click on microphone properties and then listen. Now as you can see here, it says listen to this device. It's turned off. So when I record and speak through my microphone, I don't hear my voice play back through my headphones. So if I click this and then click apply, I can now hear my voice. However, it sounds like an echo, so it screws up me speaking. So I'll shut that down. Yeah, shut that down, and there's that. So the idea with this is to hear the voice levels to make sure that it's clear, that there's not much, if any, background noise, that there isn't any pops. Sometimes I like to speak using S's and P's in words to tell if it's got a hiss or a pop to it whenever I speak. I didn't do it in preparation for this video, but well, there you go. So that's just something I test, is to listen to my own voice play back through my headphones what I sound like, and this will help so you can narrow down if your audios are too loud, if it's too low, if it's got a lot of hiss, a lot of pop, a lot of background noise, etc. If you do this check first off, it may help you have better quality videos in terms of audio. So there's that. Now, I tried doing a test of this and it didn't show up, but I have a program called Stopwatch. I'll double click that. Now, I can see this on my screen. I don't think OBS is showing this, but basically it's just a little virtual basic program that I hit start, stop, or reset to get the clock going. And I always put that at the top and center of my screen so I can kind of look up at the top and see, okay, well, this is how many minutes I've been recording, and then I usually go about 30 minutes so I can kind of gauge how long I'm running. So I don't think OBS is picking this up, but it's a freeware program I found on the internet. There's various others out there, I'm sure, but this one works pretty good for me because I could just go Alt and Tab to switch from a game window to this, hit space to start, Alt Tab back into a game, and you wouldn't even know the difference, and I can still see above the game window what the time is. When I'm done, I Alt Tab to the stopwatch, and then hit Tab and space to stop, and that'll stop the clock, and I usually do that after the recording is done. And then there's reset, so it sets it back to 0. So I don't know if you could see this right now, but there's that. The next thing I do is I start up Dxtory. And I'm going to go through the settings for this so you guys get an idea of what's going on here. So the profiles, this here is a list of games and software that it detects for recording. If you go to the default, and any of these tabs you click here, if you have it go for use default setting, whenever you have a game, say like 7 Days to Die, it'll use the default setting, but because it's also got the profile of 7 Days to Die, you can change the settings. So if you have a game that requires a different screen resolution, you can change that like right here, but the default is set for this. Okay, so that's one thing there. So we'll go back to default. This here, I don't really think you have to worry about this. This here, now if you've seen my videos, you know that there's a number in the upper right corner, upper left corner of the screen. When it's green, which you guys never ever see, but when the numbers are green, it means I am not recording. When it is red, which is what you guys do see, that's when I am recording. And I'll show you how that works in a game. You can select where you want it all around the screen. I usually go, if I know what game it is, usually the upper left corner is blank, so that number will fit there, and I can kind of see how my game, my video and the game is performing. It's kind of a diagnostic for me. Now, this is the video frames per second. This is the write file frames per second and record status. You can change these colors any way you like. I just prefer green for not recording, red for recording. Now this here is where you would save your recordings. I have 2 hard drives in my computer. One is a 120 gigabyte and the other is a 240 gigabyte. And I usually have my operating system on my C drive and my recording on my D drive. This way there's no conflicts, no bottlenecking of data or any of that. So this here, if you click benchmark, this will set the right size and whatnot. So if you click run, that is the average speed in megabytes per second that my hard drive can write. Now I have an SSD, a solid state drive, so it's pretty fast. My old laptop, it's a hybrid drive, and I would at best get between 75 and 80 megabytes a second. Some hard drives, especially if they're mechanical drives, may be slower. But this here will basically say, okay, my drive can go this fast at writing, and there's that. So really, all you really have to do is click that, run that, and just go with the value that it sets. And this is for setting it for default. I don't really see you needing to change it for any of the other profiles if you make them on the thing. And it will automatically detect a new profile for a game when you have DxStory running in the background and then run your game. Alright, hotkeys. I set the minus key on the numpad for start and stop. It's right on the edge of the keyboard, right near where my hand is for my mouse. You can select it any key that you want. You could do pause, break, page up, page down, home. Any key that you want to use to start and stop your recording, you would set that in here. I would definitely recommend that you do not use a key that you're going to use in a specific game. Like if I was to go with 7 Days to Die, and let's say there was a function in game that required the num minus key, well, I would switch off the default setting and change this key to something that is not used. It's not used in-game, so I just go with the default. Movie capture. Okay, so this is the default setting for the game. We'll go back up here to this profile, because any changes in default affect any other game profiles that are set for using the default settings. Let me make this clear. Default settings. If you change anything in here, and if you have a game that uses the default setting, it will change it for that game. If you change it individually for a specific game, it won't affect the default setting that would affect other videos. So if you have a game, any of these other games that use default, and you change the default, it might mess up with it. But if you switch off the default setting for a specific game, then you're setting settings specifically for that game, and it will not affect the defaults for these other profiles. I hope that's understandable. Now, I know a lot of people will use the Logarith lossless codec, and it's a good codec, it really is. But I kind of prefer the X264 video for Windows, H264, MPEG-4 AVC codec. These are the subsettings for it. This works best on my machine, which is a 6-core AMD with a Zotac GTX 760, I believe is what my video card is. These are the settings that I have set for my video recordings. I'm going to leave. You might want to enter in this. If I recall correctly, this is something you have to manually type in. It's minus key int, all one word, space 1. I can't remember what the significance is of that, but there you go. So I'll leave this up here for a sec so you can take note of these settings. You can pause the video if you need to. Okay, keyframes, these are pretty much defaults, and you just kind of defaults with the program. Now I record at 720p, so I have the size for 720p recording. My screen, as you may have noticed, is not a widescreen format. Unfortunately, I do not have a widescreen monitor at this time, but I want you to get the whole view of things. Okay, this thing here is the frame rate for recording. I record at 30 frames per second, and you can, it basically keeps the file size down. One thing I do want to show you is if you do use Logarith, which is strongly recommended by a lot of other YouTubers, this should be the settings for it. YV12, use multi-threading, very simple. So I'll go back to that. But yeah, I record at 30 frames per second. If you want to do 60, 120, there's settings for that. Output, file format AVI. Synchronized video FPS I have off, but usually it'll cap the video at the video in game at 30 FPS. For me, it just keeps the file sizes down because I really don't want to try uploading like a 10 gigabyte video file to YouTube because it takes for freaking ever. And personally, I don't really see a dramatic difference quite yet. So there's that. Include overlay, include mouse cursor. So those are the settings there. Okay, so over here we have the audio settings. Now, for number 1, and you can add and subtract audio tracks. These are the audio tracks that you would be creating within your video. Audio 1, headphones, this is your game sound. PCM 4800 or 48,000 hertz, 32-bit stereo. This again is the audio from the game. It's also audio if you're on TeamSpeak or some other team chat feature, voice chat feature. If it comes through your headphones, this is what works for me. Now, number 2 is my microphone, and you have PCM. Same. It's got. I don't know if it has to, but I have it match my headphone settings. So there's the settings for that. You can add more and change the device if you have multiple devices that you want to connect audio to. Say you have an MP3 player through a line in, you can connect it in through here. I don't, so I don't really need that. Screenshots, this isn't really a big deal, but if you want to do a screenshot, this has got the settings for that. And then the advanced settings. Now, Sharky, if you're watching this, buddy, do pay extra attention to this. This is what my settings are. Now, the hook. This has actually confused me for a bit, and some of you guys that are watching that know better than I do, do leave a comment in the comment section below letting me know things that I haven't explained. I might know it, might not know it. It might help me out. That's why I'm making the video, to help others, and those of you that are more knowledgeable can help me out. The hook. If you record in a game starting at, say, at 7 Days to Die's main menu, and you go through all the settings and all that, and you are continuously recording through that, and then go into game, DxTory might chop it up because it's like the game is interrupted and switching scenes, it gets interrupted. The hook will help keep it recording even though you're jumping from a load screen to a game screen or menu screen to a load screen to a game screen. It helps keep the recorder locked or hooked onto what's on the screen. Some games they may have a lot of load screens or whatever, or menus or something that will disrupt the recording. You can set this in delay of seconds. I have the permanent hook on. For CPU processing, it says the GPU load is decreased by doing, let me get that back up there, doing the GPU processing with the CPU. Processing threads, this is important. I have a 6-core computer, but the processing threads is 3. I would strongly recommend to all you guys that you use half the cores for processing. So if you have a 4-core computer, use 2. If you have a dual core, use 1. If you have an 8-core, use 4. Use half on your settings here. I think if you don't, if you use them all, you might end up with choppy or lag, or it just interrupts it. So I just, with my 6-core computer, I have 3 processing threads. And this is where I limit the video FPS to 30. This limits it not only in recording, but in game. Takes a little bit of stress off your video card and processor, if I recall correctly, and it helps keep the video kind of smooth. If I understand correctly, and I could be wrong on this, and do correct me if I am, if you're recording at 30 frames per second, but your game is actually running at 60 frames per second, you may end up with synchronization issues with audio. So if you keep it limited, there's a less chance of you speaking and then a few seconds later what you spoke about in your video happens. There won't be a lag in that. So that's part of that. And also, this will help keep your videos small in file size, at least relatively small. See, I'm kind of babbling here, and my mouth is going off in a tangent. Alright, so this here is the global settings. Not really, this is more for the program itself. Show task tray icon, which is right here. Hide taskbar when minimized. So it's, instead of being down here, it is over here. And there's that. Okay, so let's go and record a bit of game video to show you how this works. So again, I don't know if you can see this. I can, but I got my stopwatch here. I have DxTory running and minimized to the taskbar right here. And we are going to start up 7 Days to Die. Okay, so this is how it works with DxTory. Once it gets started here, and it takes a little bit for this screen here for some reason. Could be because I got 2 recorders going simultaneously. Alright, now if you look up here, there's the green numbers. You don't usually see this in my videos, but that's because if it's red, it's recording. If it's green, it is not. So it takes a little bit to get it started here. Some games are a lot quicker at booting up, so yeah. Alright, so here we are here. Now I'm not going to get in-game for this. This is just a demonstration for you guys. But you see, I'm not recording now. I'm going to hit num minus, and boom, now I'm recording in DxTory. And it is going to the directory that I specified in the DxTory settings. So now I'll hit num minus again, and now I'm not recording. So usually what I do is I go up here, and I don't think you can see this. I go up here, Alt-Tab to stopwatch, click Start, Alt-Tab back into the game window, and the clock is running. Then I hit num minus, it starts recording. Then I say my intro, and get into recording the game, keeping an eye on the clock, and then when I'm done recording, I hit num minus again. Numbers turn green. I stop the stopwatch. So that would be a recorded episode. Alright, so we'll leave this. And now I will hold down the Windows key and hit E. This brings up my Explorer. Go to my storage drive, video captures, and this is where the video would be for the recordings I just did. as you notice, you don't hear an echo of my voice in this. So I would num minus again. See, that's my recording. Alright, so it's way it is set up is DxTory will record your audio and your game audio on two separate tracks. So here's how it works. What I do is I will go like 7 days to die OBS demo, just for the sake of this. Okay, so I would just move it into that directory, and then I will right click and extract audio stream. Now because it's short clip of a video, you didn't see that all that fast or that all that slowed down, but it makes two audio tracks. This is what one sounds like. So that's your game audio. So cancel that, and this is my audio. Boom, now I'm recording in DxTory. Okay, so there you go. So I don't need this track. I will delete it. Okay, so we will minimize that, and then I have a profile set up with Windows Movie Maker. So we'll double click this. Hopefully this is recording. I haven't tested this part out. So you guys might be used to seeing this. Okay, and there's my outro picture, and it fades out. Alright, so now we will come up here, and I will add videos and photos. And this is the last video that I rendered. So we'll come up here and 7 Days to Die OBS demo. Click on that file and open. And as you see, it drops it in there. It links it between this and this. I will then add sound, and this is the got to go to the right directory. This is the audio, my voice, of what I recorded in that video clip that we had just done, and that drops it in there. And then I will do the animations. Now I used to do this where it fades. Well, actually, I keep skipping around a bit. But I used to do that one as it would fade in. Now I changed it up every now and then, and this is the new one that I do. So if you start from scratch, and boom, shatter. Now I'm recording in DxTory, and it is going to the directory that I had specified in the DxTory settings. So there you go. So then what I do is I will save movie, and I have a preset here. Let me see if I can show you the presets. I have a save movie, and then let's see if I can. Okay, I can't do that. Basically, if I create custom settings, it's this window here. This is the height, or the height, width, and the bit rate. Although this isn't exactly accurate, I changed it up to like maximum on that. And then frames per second is 30. Let's see if I can do. Alright, this is what the settings are for my videos. Okay, and you could change these by setting a new custom setting. Frame rate, bit rate, audio format. So we'll just close out of that. We will render this. Hopefully we can render this on camera. Okay, so we'll go back to the directory, because it goes to the previously used directory for that particular function. So we'll just type in 7 Days to Die OBS demo. Save. This should be relatively quick because it is a small video. For a 30-minute video, it usually takes me between 20 and 25 minutes, depending on how many of the elements are in a video clip. Boom. Video is done. Now let's play it. And I use GOM Player. Boom. Now I'm recording in DxTory. Alright, so that is now a rendered file. And I do not save changes to main sequence. That's what I named it. Because if I save it, it'll have that video material in there. I just want to keep the intro and the outro. And those are saved and backed up on my hard drive. Okay, so back to Windows Explorer. As you can see, now we have this file here. Notice the file sizes for a let's see, what is that? It says 13 seconds for that video that we made, 43 megabytes. When it's rendered down, 5 megabytes. Bitrate, it's not exactly accurate with those settings, what those are saved as, but you know, you can kind of go in and look at the properties. It might be better, might be viewed in here, but you guys get the idea, right? Okay, so we got that done. Now watch this. If you do this, boom! Now I'm recording in DxTory, but you don't hear the game music. It's going to the because it's saved on 2 separate audio tracks. Now this here combines both, and it has my intro and outro. Boom! Now I'm recording in DxTory, and it is going to the. Okay, so that there should have the game music and my voice simultaneously linked together. Now what is the next step? Well, thumbnails. I usually go to my original source file. I play it in GOM Player. Okay, now you can't hear my voice in this because it's on a separate audio track again. So what I do is I'll pause at a scene in the video that I like, and then I go over here to save the current frame. Boom. Now this is my thumbnail. So I close out of that, go to GOM Player, saves it in Documents, GOM Player, Capture, and this is what the still frame looks like. So this is what I use for my thumbnails. It's how I capture them. Okay, so what I then do is I cut, because I don't like to leave them in this directory, go back to this directory, the OBS demo, paste it in, and I usually rename them Screen 1. So that's how I do that. See? Okay, now if I go to YouTube, so Silverblade Dagger, okay, and I go to Upload, we'll go private for now, but you can do scheduled, and I'll show you how that works. So we'll go private, upload video, find the video we just made, OBS demo. We click the green one, the one we rendered. Okay. And then what I also do, and we can go back to Windows Explorer, is I have what I call the header info, and that's the tags that I use. So I just copy and then paste in. So these are like the tags that I use. And then custom thumbnail, we'll use the thumbnail that we had just made. Now this processes and renders really quickly because it's a small file, but it should, yeah, see, yeah, YouTube is a bit of a pain in the butt when it comes to this, but you have to wait a second and then it comes in. Or you could use the thumbnails that they suggest. Now if you go to scheduled, you get the dates that you can set for when you want to have your video go live for people to see, and then the hour or half hour you want it to pop up. I'm just going to go back to private there. Now advanced settings, you can just say 7 days and it'll give you the game for that in the gaming category, and the recording date. Now you usually see my videos, let's see, let me close a couple windows here. Here's my video captures of the episodes I've got done for this week. As you notice, there's a date at the end. I try to go 7 days to die, and then season, episode number, of course the alpha number, the title, and then the date. Now the date at the end is the date that I recorded that episode. Now, it may not be aired on this date. It'll this one here, see, season 4, episode 10, it airs on the 8th. So recording date is today, but if it recorded on the 1st, I click on the 1st. There's that. Top comments, I do not like the top comments thing. I go in chronological order, or newest first, going backwards. Monetization, it's monetized, it's not translated. Basic info, I type in. Description goes here, blah blah blah. For titles up here, if you looked, oops, let's see if I can, I'll have to go reopen that. If you notice up here, I have dashes for the dates, basically separators for title and all that. It won't put the separators in the title, so I have to manually type those in, as well as like 7 days to die, colon, OBS demo, space, colon, 040316, and that's how I do my videos. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? Okay, so processed, it's done. I will go in the video manager. I'm going to delete this video just because I don't really need it messing up my flow. Let me go back in here and we'll delete that. Yes, delete. Yes, I know. Yeah, you don't need a preview an older episode, but anyways, you get the point. Okay, so hopefully that will give you a little window into how I do things. It takes a lot longer than it would appear, especially because my episodes are half-hour long. That little video clip that we had done was only just a few seconds, so it takes me about 20 minutes to render, maybe sometimes a little longer. It takes me sometimes a couple hours to upload an episode, depending on how pokey YouTube is. Sometimes not so long, but if you figure that to make an episode, 1 half-hour episode might take like 2 hours of prep. That is the off-camera work, the grind work, that stuff. To make a half-hour episode, and then I have 7 episodes a week for just one game series usually. Then there's the time it takes to render a video, the time it takes to set up and edit a video to get it locked in. This is the quickest way that I do it. Another thing, I'll get that down because OBS right there. For audio, just in case you have issues where you say you can't extract the audio stream, like so. Let me see here. It says right here, extract audio stream. I think that comes with DxStory. I'm not 100%. But if you can't do it that way, you can go in here and you have raw cap converter, AVI fix, AVI mux. What this will do is you go through and you add your video. Let's see, go to computer, go to storage, video captures, OBS demo, and then you select your raw file. You open. Okay, you don't encode it, you just changing the audio codec there, and then you click build. That's pretty quick because it's a small file. And I just go clear in that. Now you have a new file, a new raw file with mux on the end. This here will blend both audio tracks into one audio track. This is nice. It's a slightly smaller file. There's one problem I've had with it. Sometimes you will lose audio sync. This is the way it was on my old laptop. It might not be the case on a newer computer like my 6-core computer. And then you can use this to drop it into Windows Movie Maker and make your rendered file. So there's that in case you don't get the extract audio stream. So that's important. And I'll just delete that because I don't really need that. Alright, so again, that's the settings. It's detected OBS is why it went to that. Again, you can have your default settings and then customize it specifically for games, say like Defense Grid, and then you can use the default settings for some of these things, or you can turn the default settings off. Say you want to record at a different resolution or a different frame rate, so that will differentiate it from other games that may be using the default setting. If you have a game that doesn't have that resolution or what have you, or you want to record it at 60 frames per second, and maybe another game you want to do it at 30, you can have custom settings for each one. Some of these settings may work for you, some of them may not. The ones that I might have off might be required by your computer. This is how it works for me. It may work better for you. It might work worse for you. Hopefully, this all is getting recorded, and this will be a complete video, because I've not done a video inside a video, videoception. But anyways, I hope this works for you. It works for me. If you have any questions, by all means, do leave a comment in the comment section below. Hopefully, Sharky, this will help you specifically. I made this video with you immediately in mind, but thinking about it, I know that this can help others who want to make videos on YouTube. For those of you that may not be interested in making YouTube videos, but you want to know the process that I go through, this is it. It's, get your audio tested to see how it sounds to you, if it's appealing to you, if it sounds right, the right volume, background noise, etc. You've checked that. I have a stopwatch to keep me on time. I have DX Story then started with all the settings I know work. I then go into the game, checking the upper left corner, although you can change it to any part of the screen you want. I check the upper left corner, make sure that it's running. I have it on the screen so I know that it is working, so I don't have, I rarely not record an episode, by thinking I am recording, but it's not, because I have that notifier up there. Green means it's not recording, red means it is. I then get into the game where I want to start recording, hit the num minus key, because that is my personal hotkey to start recording in DX Story. Numbers turn red. I record the episode after I've got the stopwatch going, of course. Record the episode, hit num key to stop the stopwatch. I then go and either start recording another episode, or I stop, get out of DX Story, go into the directory where my file save is at, extract audio, delete the one that has a 0 at the end, and keep the one that has a 1 at the end. Go into Windows Movie Maker, the preset one that I have with my intro and outro, and then drop in the audio file that I had just made. Then add in the sound for the voice track. Check it to make sure that the video is working, that all the audio is nice, that it's all linked in just right. Put in the particular transition, which is now a shatter. It used to be a fade in. Make sure that it works in the preview. Then I go and save it in the format that I want. Put in the title that I use, 7 Days to Die, dash, season number, episode number, the alpha, the title that I give it based on what happens in the video usually, and then the date that I recorded it. Render the video. Then once it's rendered, you go to YouTube in your back office on that, upload video, schedule, set the date that you want it to air, and then the time. Enter in your tags, and as you saw, my process is I have a notepad document that has all my tags separated by a comma. Copy paste those into the tag section, and then type in a description. Put in the appropriate separators for the colon for the game title, colon, space, episode or season dash episode dash alpha dash title dash record date, all those settings on YouTube, and then process it once I'm sure that everything's all set up. I almost forgot. I also go into GOM Player to set up my screen capture for the thumbnail. You can also do this by going Control and then print screen. Actually, I'll show you how I do that now I can remember it. This is kind of off the cuff, so forgive me. So I just hit Control, print screen, so it's in my kind of like Control C to copy, and then I would go to let's see, Paint. Where's my Windows Paint? I haven't used it in a while. It's in Accessories, Paint, and then Control V to paste it in. So that's my desktop there, and then I would save as a JPEG, whatever file directory you want to put that in, and then I would use that as my thumbnail. So there's that way to doing it. You could do it in-game, or you can do it through whatever video player you have. I use GOM Player. Unfortunately, it does have adware in it. I tried to not make it take over my toolbars and that kind of happy crap, but it does have that nice button feature to save whatever's on screen as a thumbnail. And you can just use that as your thumbnail in YouTube, or you can use the ones that they prefer. The professional guys have their own system for doing a thumbnail, but this is just how I do it. So anyways, guys, I don't know how long this video is recorded because, oh, this is 41 minutes. Damn. Anyways, guys, I hope this video has been helpful. Sharky, I hope this helps you. If it doesn't, if you have questions, let me know. Any of you other guys that have questions, let me know. I'll do the best I can to answer. Hell, if you see this, this is my process. If you have suggestions, Games for Kicks, if you have suggestions, anybody else that has recorded and has experience at this, have suggestions, let me know. I'd love to hear them. It'll help me, but most of all, it'll also help those who may be interested in getting into YouTube. So hopefully this will get you guys on the right path, or at least a start. And thanks for watching. So like, dislike, comment either way. Be polite, be constructive. Share this video, because if this video can help someone else get into YouTube and have fun and an enriching experience of this, freaking awesome. My job is done. So yes, share, subscribe, and follow me on Twitter so that you'll know when videos like this come out, because this is not on a schedule. This video is just kind of an impromptu thing. Mainly is intended to help Sharky get his settings set up so he can do some really good recordings. But if it helps others, great. But yeah, pay attention to my Twitter feed. When a video goes up, and you'll be the first to know about it. So thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, see you later. Twitch. And let's see, OBS has this key to end video.